Welcome to the K-Drop.
That's how we're going to start.
I guess. Maybe not as creepy. Maybe the voice can be a little higher.
Welcome to the K-Drop, your weekly dose of what's in K-pop music and culture.
Ow!
Ooh, what's up, Sam?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. This is our first episode.
Yep.
First time talking with you in this way.
Yeah. We've talked a lot before this, not in this way. We've had many conversations about very personal things, also about K-pop. So we just thought, why not?
Why not?
Why not put this on record?
Exactly.
So that the public can keep us accountable.
Accountable is a very good word there.
This is all about accountability.
Yeah, so why don't we start off by introducing what this podcast will be about. We're just going to take certain topics. We're going to take certain songs, K-pop songs, sometimes just singles. Maybe we might feature an artist for a week. But every week we'll break them down. And we'll be trying to give you, the fans and the listeners, what we think about it in many different ways. Sam, why don't you highlight some of the ways for us?
So we'll be breaking them down, of course, musically. So both of us are musicians. That's an understatement. Just kidding. We'll be talking about it theoretically, if it's interesting, analyzing it melodically, quarterly, maybe. James is a little better at Korean, so he's going to be breaking it down lyrically if it is something that's noteworthy, and culturally how it impacts, this generation and so forth.
It's because culturally now, K-pop is so big that it affects not just Korea, but the world.
The world, yo.
Yeah, it's all over the place now.
Changed the country too.
K-pop
changed
groups,
South Korea.
just
like
everywhere now.
Yeah,
it's kind of
several
crazy.
decades ago. Korea was just a nobody country.
Mm-hmm. They were only known for like Samsung.
Yeah. Now they're known for just changing the entire music industry, changing the visual aspect of music as well, and just creating a factory full of hits.
Yeah. So we'll just be giving our opinion, our analysis.
Yeah.
And giving our 2 cents on what K-pop culture is and how K-pop is around us right now.
Right. And I would imagine some people are going to eventually disagree with our opinions, perhaps.
For sure.
If that's the case, please comment. Well, not rudely, but you can definitely disagree and we can have a discussion there.
Of course.
Don't get in a fight in the comment section, please.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah, cool. And we're going to also start off by introducing ourselves really quickly.
Indeed.
Yes, my name is James.
Hi, James.
I live born and raised in Los Angeles, California, in the best city in the world. And yeah, I've just been listening to K-pop music, or Korean music in general, for a very long time. I pretty much, since the 90s, I guess. I'm a 90s baby. Did I just give my age out? That's not cool. But yeah, I'm classically trained in piano. Been playing piano for a very long time as well.
He is a very good pianist.
Yes, and
Note the T at the end of that word.
Yeah, just love listening to music, love listening to different types of music. I'm more, I'd say I'm more into like Korean hip hop, in that hip hop scene, more than like K-pop music. Yeah. But I do love bops. I love hearing young girls singing and dancing on stage.
And sitting. Yeah.
What else is there? What else can I say about myself? Yeah, I guess that's it.
What I can say about James is that he's a very cultured, worldly man, very well acquainted with Korean culture, Korean language, and also what's current in K-pop today. Both of us have a history of growing up with Korean pop before it was ever even called K-pop. A lot of times we'll be watching Gayo Top 10.
Oh, man.
on TV.
Yes.
Back in the 90s, you know, we'd be watching Taeyeon, you know, perform after they win, and then some fan would go up on stage and tackle him, and then the show would be over. Things like that.
The good old days.
The good old days, you know. Before the internet, you just had to catch them once a week if you had 한국 방송, you know. And that's that.
Yes. Sam, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
As for me, my name is Sam Lee, and currently I'm a K-pop music producer. And I've been writing songs since I was 11 years old. And it's been terrible songwriting up until maybe a couple weeks ago. That's basically my claim to
He's
fame.
just very critical. I mean, I'm critical too.
Yes.
So I think that's why this works, because we're both critical.
I think you'll notice that we're very critical of K-pop releases as well when we talk about it. It doesn't mean that we hate these groups at all. The groups that we're going to be touching on today, I mean, we adore.
Yes.
But if we disagree with some of the songwriting, if we disagree with some of the things, the choices they've made musically, image-wise maybe, we'll say it. That's what a podcast is.
Yes.
Say whatever you want.
We will not hold back.
No network is going to come in and be like, take that off.
Unless they pay us.
Yes.
And
then
we'll
we'll take
start
anything
holding
off.
back. Yes.
We'll take it all off.
I'll do whatever.
James will take it all
they
off.
want,
We're not talking about music anymore. We're talking about clothing.
Yes.
Okay, so that's my short intro. I don't know what else to really say about myself. I can play music. I know instruments.
He
how
is
to play
very
them.
talented.
Yeah, this is probably
Multi-talented. Multi-talented.
Very true. So no sense of modesty whatsoever,
Yes.
though. Okay, so that's us.
That's us.
I'd like to talk about something a little more interesting for the audience because they don't care about us.
Really?
care
I mean,
about
I don't
us,
know.
right?
Like, I mean, I think, well, they'll get to learn about us as this podcast, as we go week to week.
They'll learn to care about us.
Learn to care about
Yeah.
us. Yes, for sure. But yes, we will start every episode probably with like this current K-pop news.
And we would call that the current wave.
The current wave with a K.
Clever.
And then Sam pointed out that current and wave, they're both the same thing. So it's kind of cool.
Synonymous.
Yes.
Beautiful.
But we're going to talk about, I really hate to start off our first podcast with something so dark. It's very dark, but this is like kind of like the biggest thing that's going on in K-pop
Nonetheless,
right now.
it's relevant and real,
Yes,
and it's happening now.
It's happening right now, so
Yes.
we need to touch upon it. We need to talk about it.
Of course.
And it's the crazy sex scandals that are going around in K-pop right now.
Yes.
Namely with Seungri
Mm-hmm.
and Chung Junyoung.
Mm-hmm.
And let's touch upon that. So a little bit of a background information for those who may not know. If you don't know, I guess you're not a fan of K-pop because this is like I said, the biggest thing that's going on. So Chung Junyoung, he's like he's a singer. He's pretty popular. He became more popular through like what do you call it, like variety shows, 일박이일 namely. But he has like a celebrity chat room where he shared illegally filmed videos of him doing the naughty thing with like his friends, and he had there were like 3 to 7 chat rooms with different people. And Seungri is involved because he was part of these chat rooms, and he was also like kind of sharing it with like other people, and these were like big like representative like big people, not in like the K-pop industry, but just like VIP people, like
That's
people.
bad.
Yeah, and
That's bad,
it's terrible. It's really terrible. Both Chung Junyoung and Seungri have since left the entertainment industry. They personally, sent out like a retirement letter saying that they will leave.
It's like a
the
resignation.
industry. Yeah,
by the
like
president.
a resignation.
It's like Nixon.
But it's like to the people and their fans. Obviously, this is a big thing. Chung Junyoung is obviously facing jail time, massive penalties.
That's crazy.
Seungri, he's already admitted that he has been sharing the video with others. But his argument is that he wasn't the one filming, and he only received from other people. So that's where this is at right now. I don't know if
that's really going to do anything for him.
Yeah, but that's where we are right now, and we're still trying to hear from like what's going to happen with the case. They're trying to obviously work together with the police to see, the extent of this.
Yeah,
and it's a pretty big deal.
I mean, the extent is their careers are over.
For sure,
they're disgraced for sure.
For sure.
I think for me the main moral of the story is sharing is not always caring. Yeah, don't be sharing that kind of stuff. Okay,
that's pretty crazy. I
Yeah,
mean, like
share some
especially
food.
in this day and age, because I can't say like that hasn't been going on. You know, like that's probably something that's really common. Like I don't know, maybe like in the Korean industry,
Yeah.
like in the Asian music industry,
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, it's very not like, I don't like to say this, but then it's just, you know, you need to do certain things to get to where you want to be. And that was
Sure.
like kind of how people found their way up the ladder,
Right.
you know, that was the only way that they could do it sometimes, to get recognition.
Right.
So it's really like sad that that's the case, because definitely like K-pop is probably, or used to be, a very like corrupt industry.
Sure.
Or I think it's still maybe could be. You know, there's like Korea is a very small country.
Well, this is definitely showing that
Mm-hmm.
it definitely could be still, you know.
Yeah, but then like obviously in this day and age, this is gonna come out now, and then it's kind of relevant because even in like America right now, or even like California right now,
Yeah.
there's this big college scandal, and it's just with the USC and Aunt Becky. I don't know if
Yeah. Yeah.
the listeners know who Aunt Becky is, but that's the aunt from Full House.
If you're a 90s kid, you know.
you would know.
It's very disappointing.
Yes.
I loved her.
Yeah, I did love her. She was
Still
the
love her.
nation's aunt. But yeah, I mean, she, you know, and a group of people, rich people, decided to pay off, you know, like USC, you know, coaches to get their children into the colleges, and like that kind of scandal. Like,
Right.
there's just so much things going on
Right,
that we
right.
don't know about personally.
Right. And that's a shame, because it pretty much stomps on the American dream, because it, you know, takes away from, if you work hard enough, you can be equal to anyone that's up there. You know? So that kind of spits on the American dream. I personally don't think it's as intense as this sex scandal.
Oh, of course not. I'm just saying, like, there's my, like, you know, connection to it is that in this day and age, it's so easy for these things to come out now.
Right.
You know, like
social media,
yeah,
you know, like
social
everyone
media.
can share anything at all times.
Yeah.
Like I still think it's shocking that somebody, this is totally off topic, but just going off of like people can share anything at all times on social media. I think it's crazy that you were able to see XXX Tentacion's dead body like minutes after he got murdered.
Right,
You
yeah,
know,
I
like
mean, like-
that, only today can that happen, you know? And so, yeah, like people are sharing their naughty habits, you know, with each other, you know, like-minded people. And if they had the technological advances to go about doing that, they're gonna take advantage of it. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a shame that these people are supposed to be, you know, model people in society that people can look up to. Clearly, they're not. And for their, you know, careers to have ended, I think that's appropriate. And for YG to lose so many shareholders, that's up for
probably
you know,
like
debate.
the biggest thing right now is like the effects of what this, like, especially Seungri's role.
Right.
Because I mean, Big Bang was obviously like the biggest. I would say like the biggest group of the past, you know, decade or so.
They at least set the standard.
Yeah,
for
they
boy
set the
groupism,
standard
you know.
for everything, and
Yeah.
now it's just, you know, Top had his thing with the military, and then he had to leave,
Yeah.
and now like while everybody's away, like Seungri does this,
Yeah.
and like I mean, I'm sure YG is like, you know, banking on Blackpink, who are releasing a new single next week.
Right.
But then I mean, soon these Big Bang guys are going to come back,
Right.
and they are probably planning to, you know, do something because they're all
Right.
coming back together. But now, is it the right timing to even do that?
Yeah, the future seems a little bleak for them, to be
I
honest.
mean, they can come out with solo stuff, and they've all done their own solo things, which
Right.
they all succeeded with.
Yeah.
I mean, G Dragon's gonna be G Dragon, Taeyang's gonna be Taeyang, you know, Taezong's gonna be Taezong.
Yeah.
But it just it does, you know, put a little, you know, thorn on everything.
It's just a big cloud. It's like a damper on everything. And
Yes.
it really sucks. And my personal opinion, like I understand that YG missed out, and all these shareholders, you know, dropped out. Millions, tens upon millions, hundreds maybe of millions of dollars being lost. I think this, you know, I understand why that may be so. And, you know, it's a political thing. They, you know, people want to save face. They want to keep their hands clean. I don't know if this is a popular opinion, but I feel like if you're someone like Seungri, you're an adult. You're a man that can make your own decisions. And for YG to be held as a company, to be held accountable and responsible for a full grown ass man's behavior
Yeah.
is a little bit strange.
Well, it does also show to like how big of an position somebody might have had.
Maybe
I
mean
like,
they're trying to. I mean, he called up those prostitutes to like impress businessmen.
Right.
Are those potential shareholders? Like, who knows?
Could be.
If that's the case, it's ironic because why
he had
did
his
shareholders
own,
back out?
He had his own like businesses in Korea too, which extended from YG. So like now YG came out recently and he's like, I'm gonna take care of all the businesses that my my artists like have because this is getting out of hand. Because now this is the craziest thing for me because there was always a big three: SM, JYP, YG. Those are the big three.
Yep.
But now because of BTS, Big Hit Entertainment, they're up there now.
Yep.
And
they're just waiting for one of them to drop out. What a perfect opportunity.
The thing is, YG's already considered out of it.
Yeah.
Like industry people are already saying it's a new big four.
Right.
And the big four is, well, SM and JYP still up top.
Yeah.
Big Hit is like right behind. And they're saying that Big Hit might take over all of them just because of BTS's popularity, which is crazy. Just off of one singular group, they can just overtake everybody.
Right. But as we all know, there's a shelf life for K-pop groups. So, they have to think about the future.
Yes. And the fourth group is actually, the fourth company is called CJENM, which is like the company that owns Mnet. But then they are not their own producers, but they are taking over or they are buying out different like smaller groups like AOMG, like Higher Music, like Stone Music, and like all these like smaller ones. Not smaller as in like they're really small. Obviously AOMG is like a very big label. But then they're like actually like kind of collaborating with all these little like smaller producers, and they're becoming a very big player in the scene now too. So YG's not even considered to be in the top 4 anymore,
right?
Which is crazy to hear because YG is probably one of the. I mean, he's from Taeyeon. Like he's like one of the OG K-pop, artists out there ever. Yeah. I still remember watching YG Family come out and in one time and Jinshun and all coming out on stage, and YG comes out at the end like he's like the big boss, and it was crazy.
Totally is.
And now he's just nobody, and it's just like, wow.
Well, you never know. I personally think YG is so big and they're so relevant in the music that they're doing. I mean, they have the biggest girl group in the world basically
right now,
and
yes.
And they know how to stay relevant. They know how to make music that's super relevant, considering how hip hop oriented they are.
I hope so. I mean, like, I love YG. YG is probably like my favorite out of the used to be big three.
Yeah.
Because they were more like hip hop oriented. I think they like strayed a lot away from that, obviously, just because of trends and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they're. I personally think that it's gonna blow over. I hope, because I just want great music. And I think whoever is guilty for their crimes, should be reprimanded.
Yeah.
Whether it be jail time, whether it be, they never get to go back in the spotlight, or they have to do some public service or whatever it is. Yeah. And that's that. It's an unfortunate situation.
Right.
It's going to blow over because people are going to lose interest in it, and we're going to move on to the next scandal. It's just the way it is.
It's crazy though. Like I really think it's like crazy how, once again, like it just kind of parallels like what's been happening like in America too, with like the whole Me Too thing going on, right?
For sure.
Yeah. And then like, all these like people are stepping up now in Korea because like I said, this is not like something that's been going on, like it just happened like right now.
Right.
Even these like videos I think are from like 4 or 5 years ago, or like they're just surfacing like now.
Yeah.
But like all these people are now stepping up and like saying like, oh, I was treated wrongly, then like back then, and this and that, and they're like getting more, I guess voices to do so.
Yeah. Because you need a certain amount of bravery to come out, into the public spotlight.
Do you think that this will make the industry like better, or do you think like it will, I don't know, make it worse? Because like I don't know, like in America it's different because America's so big, and like the Me Too thing, like when it came. For me personally, like I didn't think like it's not that I'm not sympathetic to like what's going on with the Me Too movement or what's not, but when it became like such a big thing where like you had to be so careful with what you say and like it had to be like that's when I lost interest in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's bad and good for both sides of any political stance. And the Me Too movement, you know, both of us believe that it was necessary in this country.
Right.
Obviously, it's necessary over there. I just think, I think it could definitely be a good thing for people because it keeps everyone accountable publicly. Public accountability in general is just something that everyone needs, not only to, you know, stay out of trouble, but also to make progress. And so I think it's amazing that, you know, Korea is making progress in that way. Some people are obviously going to get in trouble for, you know, that. But yeah, you know, like I know that these guys have done these terrible things and I totally agree with the punishment that they're getting. But I'm sure there's so many people that have done, they just haven't been caught.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I just hope, like, my hope is that it progresses, like, the culture. Yeah. Because especially, like, K-pop is such a, like, only recently has it become a little bit more open to, like, the artists, like, and what they want. Yeah. It was so controlled by these companies and, like, what the image that they were trying to show. And now you're getting more, like, you know, artists, like, making their own music and, like, kind of showing their own color. And
I think it's actually because of social media, because you get to kind of build on your power based on how many people like subscribe to you personally. Like if somebody has 4 million followers and a label wants them to do something and they're like, I don't want to, like there is more leverage because they have so many followers, you know. Just on that merit alone, I feel like people get control and they get to have creative control, which in my opinion is the most important thing. Because what is music? It's an expression of oneself. You know, it's art. You're representing yourself with a medium of art. So I think that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, I mean, I hope whatever this is, I mean, it's an unfortunate event, but hopefully it allows, you know, some progress in that K-pop culture and in the K-pop industry so that like these things don't happen again. Yeah.
And now that we've covered that very dark wave.
That was
wave.
Deep. I kind of got into it a little bit right now.
I think there's so much we can say about it. I think punishment needs to be given and punishment is received.
Yes.
And we need to move on.
Yes.
And so on a lighter thing to talk about. Let's talk about music.
Yes, that's the point of this podcast.
Right.
One. Oh, yeah, right.
So this segment, we're going to kind of split it up into segments. This one's called Weekly K-Bops.
Weekly K-Bops.
Weekly
K-Bops. Is that what we're going to do? I think I just made that up, right?
With a Z at the end. That's actually how I wrote it. No one would even know. I'm just explaining how we wrote it out in our notes.
Yes.
But we are going to cover 3 artists.
Yes,
this
3
week.
Artists. The 3 artists are Taeyeon.
Ooh.
And we're going to cover ITZY and Baek Yerin, or Yerin Baek. 2 of them are single, solo artists, solo female artists.
I thought you were saying 2 of them are like single.
Oh, I wish.
They may be.
They may be. Who knows? Yeah. ITZY is a girl group by JYP. But we will start off with Taeyeon today. And she came out with a new single last week. A new, 2-song. Is it called like an EP, right? Like it's an EP,
or like a single, like a side A,
single
side B
album, or whatever. That's what people do these days. It's called Hage, and that translates to 4 seasons. Ha meaning 4, Ke is short for 계절, which is seasons. That's what the song is. Why don't we start with some of the credits? Who's this by?
Okay, so the writers for this are Hyun Ji-won. Also responsible for Coco Bop by EXO, Gold by 101, Good Thing by NCT 127, and many more, actually.
Yes.
So it's clear that they work with SM.
Yes.
And JQ is also the other writer, also responsible for Coco Bop.
Oh, wow.
Bad Boy by Red Velvet, of course.
Yes.
My personal favorite girl group.
Oh, man.
And Power by EXO.
Oh, wow.
So, it's a power duo. And they wrote this song. It was released March 24th of 2019.
Yes. The
Very
song
recent.
is pretty much about, yes, like the, it's about, I guess, a love that she had for 4 seasons, obviously. That's why the title is 4 Seasons. And she's...
Not the hotel. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she might have that much money. But she obviously went through this love and, and then she's just letting it go. It was something that just came and passed. It's just going to come and pass like the 4 seasons go. But then it does talk about how she was so strongly in love with whomever this guy may be. And but now, she's looking for something different. She gave him everything. But now it's time to let go. It's time to go on. Yes. And yeah, I mean, we could give her a little bit of background of Taeyeon. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows who Taeyeon is.
Well, for any fans of Girls' Generation,
yes,
소녀시대, like myself and James.
Oh man, I think they're like my first love or something.
Yeah, definitely for me too.
Yeah.
I remember like doing everything with 소녀시대 in the background.
Yes.
But for anyone else that is a fan of Girls' Generation, Taeyeon is the main vocalist. I mean, she
leader.
did. You're the main vocalist when you do the high note at the end. Okay, at the end chorus, when you put in the high note, that's when people are like, "Oh, you're the main vocalist." She not only is the main vocalist for doing that, but she kind of like put that into relevance. Like
that's true.
She kind of like made that climactic, that high note a standard in girl groupism.
Because 소녀시대 is obviously 9 people. Well, now 8 because Jessica left. But then it was 9 when they were at their peak.
Yes.
And it was crazy because, you look at a 9-member girl group and you're like, how is this going to work? Like
coming from an American perspective for me, I was like, why? Because this is before I was really into K-pop. And I saw that group and I was like, why? Why do they need 9 people? It's like some like crazy anime or like some baseball cards you can collect or something.
And they barely get any screen time and they barely get any part of the song.
They have half a verse each. Yeah. To me that was strange because all I heard was like rock music beforehand.
Right.
Yeah.
But they made it work. I mean, they became one of the biggest girl groups ever.
The most legendary girl group of all time.
Most legendary girl group of all time.
They set the standard.
It was my or it still is my favorite. I always talk about that.
Yes.
I mean, I love her. So much.
So much.
so much. And yeah, she's definitely and she's definitely a very talented singer that is known through like the industry as one of the best like idol group singers.
Yes.
She kind of came to I don't know, her solo, I guess, life. What do you call it? Like solo career. There you go. Sorry. Her solo career came with this song called If 만약에, which was like a OST song. It was back in 2008, and I can't believe that's already 11 years ago.
Wow.
11 years ago that she did this song. I forgot what drama it was for because I don't really watch Korean dramas. But that song,
he lives them. He lives the dramas.
Yes,
doesn't watch them.
The Korean dramas. But that song it blew up. It was like sung everywhere. It was on everywhere. I know still to this day, like friends that go to norebangs and karaoke's and like they sing that song specifically when it's the right time because actually when people go to norebang with me, we never do slow songs until like there's like a specific
bounce with me.
Yes. Okay, Sam knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then she just went into this, like OST life. She did these 2 songs.
That OST life.
And then she came out with her own, little mini albums. Started with I. And then she went into Y. Which is really weird. I guess.
The rhyme scheme. I love
the
it.
rhyme scheme, I guess.
And I personally would say when she started those songs, when it was like at the end of Girls' Generation, I would say she was trying to catapult her own solo career.
Yes.
Which I believe if anyone in Girls' Generation was able to do it, it would be her. I mean,
Definitely.
She is the most talented.
Yes.
Certainly, this counts in K-pop, one of the best looking. She just had it all, the personality and the variety shows and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When I came out, that sounds hilarious.
That was really weird.
That didn't come out. When the song I came out, I was actually disappointed. I didn't really like the fact that she heavily relied on powerful vocals, high notes to kind of set up some sort of like memory points or points where people would remember the song. Now, was it catchy? Yes. Was it special? To me, not really. And I think she was kind of going off of the equation that worked for Girls' Generation. She used her powerful vocals, used as many opportunities to showcase that aspect of her singing. And so for me, listening to something like Four Seasons, or even the B-side, it's very refreshing to me. Because for me, like, I didn't immediately think, oh, this is a Taeyeon song because she's like blasting off with her vocals. I was like, whoa, she's not singing out. She's not hitting a bunch of high notes. She's actually relying completely on the melodic merit of the song.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, that's pretty interesting that you say that because, yeah, like this song especially, it felt the most like out of all of her songs, because all of her other songs sounded very Korean. Like this song sounded very Western to me, like in the way that it was presented.
Yes.
Like there's like parts where like, it's very catchy to the ear when, she go like after the chorus, there's the ooh, 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 like where like you could follow along with. And like
Nice
there's like catchy little parts where people could follow along.
Yeah.
I felt like this song and like the way that she sang it, like now she has this like more mature color to her voice.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that just like it helped, present the song in the way that she needed to present it. Like it was very interesting.
That maturity is something that I find so good about this because, how safe would it be to rely on your past successes? Like, what worked before? If it's not broken, just use it again. Right. But instead, she chooses to try something new and not hitting a bunch of high notes, not showcasing the powerful vocals. If you hit a high note, it's actually in your falsetto range. That's actually being brave on Taeyeon's part, I believe. And so I give kudos to the songwriters and also her for not relying on that.
Or maybe she is 30 years old now.
Yeah.
Much older than, she was when she first started singing. And
sure.
The color, as somebody goes through a specific like musical career, the color of your voice does change too. Yes. Obviously, because you are getting older.
Yes.
And you're using your voice a lot more.
Her voice, though, I feel like it's just so like cemented. It's like so like, it's so strong, and the tone just, I feel like she never loses her voice.
Yeah,
she's in a constant state of like power.
But I just like it because now, maybe it's like very fitting with the time, because it's all about like woman power these days, and like the attitude that she brings to the song. Like she comes off as a very strong woman, right? Like just even her voice is just like very different. I
mean, she's the leader of the most legendary girl group of all time. So it's like, if there's anyone that's a queen in K-pop, it's Taeyeon.
So when I first heard the song, like I was just like, whoa, like your voice is kind of cool. Like this is really interesting because it's so different. Because I was expecting when I first heard like this song, like I was expecting just a very clean Korean voice that she used to sing, but then it was very like attitude-y. Like, it was like, I don't need you anymore. I don't need you anymore.
And
like,
her delivery, there's like a jazziness to it, a little sassiness to it. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
And I think if we're going to get into any technical aspects of it, because for me, the biggest thing that stands out is obviously the fact that she's not trying to impress you with her range. Like that is a sign of maturity. Yeah. Because any K-pop fan knows, especially like the first single that any group has, what do you got to do? You got to make it blast off. You got to at least have one high note in there. Koreans love that stuff. Guys that can hit high notes that are higher than female notes, like it's just what you got, and so for me to hear this and just completely, the song is completely reliant on just the songwriting. It's not about the powerful part here or there. It is about a drop that eventually doesn't even drop with like 808s. It's a hook, like you said. That I love that songwriting approach because it's all about, it's kind of modern. It's like, you can even equate that to something like Fire by BTS. It builds up and then has a drop where there's no like actual lead vocal going on. And she does this somehow in this somewhat jazzy pop song, structurally talking. And for her to not sing during this main part, that takes a certain amount of humility and trust in the song to carry the momentum forward. Yeah. And so, just some notes. Her highest note is with a chest voice is actually B. This is all in the bridge, at the end of the bridge, and then she actually scales up. Interestingly, a tritone, which is an augmented fourth or a diminished fifth interval.
You got into this.
To an F. Yeah, actually, I was really listening for it because. You know, she loves to hit those high notes. And I was like, where's the high note? And then she hit it, and it was a falsetto.
Yeah, it was like just at the end of the bridge, she just hits that note really like lightly.
Exactly.
And then she just goes on.
Yes. And also, right after she hits that, building up into the last chorus, it's not a long build-up either. They actually cut the build-up in half and just go straight
I
into
actually
that.
noticed that because like that was one part where I was just like, wait, I feel like there could be like one more dun, 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 dun. They're building up, and I was like waiting for it, and she just came, and I was like, oh, okay, all right.
And I, you know, whenever I hear stuff like that, like, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people notice stuff like that. It still sounded natural, but when I hear things like that, I always think it's a political move because they're like, oh, we got to keep it 3:30 or like however long they want it, for like for the market.
Yeah, because like music is so short these days.
And I realized like, okay, so that's a really cool build-up. Let's say they made that twice as long. I still feel the climactic value of that, that crescendo of it. I like it. But I understand from a K-pop perspective, if you want to make sure there's vocals as soon as possible at all times, you know? And so if that's the move they made because of that reason, I can respect that.
It's cool because like this past weekend, March 24th and 25th, she actually threw like a concert in Korea. And there was, I don't know if she's going to do actual like, you know, what is it? What do you call those, like actual go on the shows and actually sing, you know, like other, you know, when they release, they do like a comeback special and do all that stuff. Maybe she's all past that now. I think she is, honestly speaking. Like she doesn't really need that.
She doesn't.
I mean, she just like throws out a single and probably people without even listening to it, it goes chart number 1 because that's what it is right now. Chart number 1 for like the past week.
Swaggy.
On all the Korean charts, which is really crazy. But then like she put out her own video, and I think like SM put out their own video of her singing the song live, like at the at her concert, which is really cool these days, you know, because like that's such an accessible thing now with people's like camera phones, which are always all crazy. You know, like they can actually record these in 4K, and it'll
camera phones are responsible for some people's careers. You know, like EXID, like in some ways.
That's true. Yeah, like Honey. Like, I mean, she just blew up because of that one video. But when she's singing this, it's like, it's so good. Like there's no flaw. Like like the way that she sings in the CD and the way that she just sings it live. It's so. I mean, of course, you're not gonna hit every note cleanly and every that's impossible unless you're who I don't even know, like Park Hyo-shin or
Park Hyo-shin, you know,
or
Brian
like
McKnight,
Kim Bums or Brian
like,
McKnight. Even Brian McKnight probably doesn't, you know.
But I would imagine Taeyeon someone that a label would save a lot of money in recording and studio time because she probably goes in there, records it maybe 3 times max, you know, and just steps out.
But then talking about that bridge, the note where she goes high, even on stage, it's not like a showy thing. She just like kind of touches on it, and then she just goes on.
She's like, I could do this. Like whatever.
And then like, you know, for a moment, it's like even looks like she's not even trying. Like it doesn't even sound good. Like honestly speaking, like it doesn't seem like she's even trying to hit that high note. She just like kind of breezes it, and it's like, oh, let's get to the chorus, let's get to the like the good stuff, you know. Okay. You know, like it's really cool. Like I don't know, like the seeing her live and her able to like just go through this song and just like kill it. You know,
that's the thing about live music, man, because like, you know, you want to be impressed. So you want them to be super accurate to the record. And Taeyeon, for the most part, is. When she sings, it's just like, whoa, like, is that a backing track or like, what is she doing? But I do like it when they aren't perfect. I mean, that's kind of the charm of doing things live, isn't it?
For sure. Yeah. I think that's what's missing from music these days. It's like everything's just too perfect, and there's no like little flaws. Like little parts where you're like, oh, that sounded like a mistake, but that was really good. You know, like. And
from a producing standpoint, I guarantee you, all the listeners, okay, all 5 of you, I guarantee that
Are we at 5 already?
Sorry, I'm getting cocky. 3. My mom for sure. I would say 95%, if not 100% of the recordings that you hear are tuned. Are vocally tuned. It doesn't mean that the singers are bad by any means. It just means that the standard that our ears are used to is beyond human capability. That's literally what it is. Like, we do not understand imperfection in singing because every single recording is melodined or auto-tuned or whatever it is. And so So yeah, it's true. We're too used to and we expect perfection. I, for one, would like to hear a little less of that.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this song, very great, very good song, very solid song. Like, it's not like anything crazy. It's not anything like bad, but like
catchy.
It's catchy for sure. Like, actually, like the first time I heard it, I thought, man, I think they did like Taeyeon did like injustice. Like, I thought it was like a really boring song. But then like the more I heard it, it more like stuck in my head. Right. I think that's like the power of like maybe a really good song is that the more that you listen to it, it kind of gets to you. Like chorus is like really good. Right. The chorus is really strong. Right. And that's just stuck with me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really like this song. I actually liked it the first time I heard it, but I do have to admit, and this happens a lot, and I understand why this is a title track. It's a single for sure. I understand why Blue is not. Blue doesn't pick up.
Blue is the other song in the
it's the B-side
single, by the way.
And I bring it up because I actually like Blue better. I like Blue a lot better than the single. But at the same time, I understand because this single, it picks up. The beat comes in. It's a catchier song. The melody gets stuck in your head immediately.
And it feels more personal to Taeyeon.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But I do believe that Blue is the true representation of her maturity musically because she is so minimal in that. And every single syllable that she sings, it just matters. It matters. And so it's so much heavier and impactful, even though the instrumentation is far less. It's far more scarce.
Yeah, so you guys should definitely listen to Blue as well as these songs, Hage, which is 4 Seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like this is a solid song by Taeyeon. I mean, I'll probably listen to anything that she puts out. Yeah. But,
doesn't mean you'll always like it. In this case, we definitely like it.
We like it for sure.
Moving on.
But before we move on, I would just like to just say, apologize for the fact that, I'm so nasally congested right now.
Oh, you got to sneeze and stuff?
Yeah, and I got to like sneeze and stuff. But if I do, I'm very sorry about it to the listeners. Like, if you hear something in the background, just please understand.
I'm a little sniffly myself.
Yeah. California is in like, bloom season, so it's like kind of a little crazy.
Allergies.
Yes. Either way, let's keep on moving here. We're going into ITZY now. ITZY.
ITZY territory.
And we're going into the song DALLA DALLA, which is 달라달라. Yeah. It means different.
Yeah.
Diff. Yeah. Sam, why don't you introduce the credits for the song?
Okay, well, this is their debut single, and it was released February 11th of this year, 2019.
Yes.
Written by, I believe it's a duo. They're called Galactica.
Wow.
Galactica. Yes, they're also responsible for 101's 약속해요, IPU, Twice's Heartshaker, which is definitely one of my favorite Twice songs. Catchy ass chorus. And yeah, so obviously they've worked with JYP before.
Yes.
And I have to say, well, what are your first impressions?
Well, okay, so let me introduce a couple more things about the song itself. Well, it's out of their EP called It's Different, but the thing is called ITS. I actually forgot that we have these like nice pictures and I'm not flashing it. Here we go. Here's Taeyeon. Oh, sorry. Let's go back. There's Taeyeon. Should have been in the background. She's looking very natural.
Yeah.
Very natural. Very nice.
Look at her. She's like, I don't do high notes anymore because I'm mature. I just make great songs. Okay, moving on.
Should have had that. Yeah. Now this is ITZY. Wow.
ITZY.
So on the top left, it says It's Different. It's
with
different.
a Z.
With a Z.
Yeah.
It's different.
And then it also says, I don't care what they say, I am just who I am.
Which is kind of what their DALLA DALLA or 달라달라 song is about.
Yes.
It's talking about that you should be yourself and you should love yourself.
Yeah.
And don't let others' perceptions get in the way of what you want to be.
Right.
And you kind of hear that in my favorite part. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
And this is just I love who I am. I'm different. That's what
it's
they're trying to
positive,
say. Yes.
Self-loving bop. I think it's so appropriate for this day and age.
I mean, they're trying to do that like whole girl crush, teen crush kind of thing, like really strong woman power. I feel like all of our songs, this podcast or this episode, is all about women power and like your independency.
I love powerful women.
To introduce you to some of the members, from left to right, we have Yuna, Leah, Ryujin, Chaeryeong, and Yeji. And it's pretty cool because these girls, like, they grew up in like kind of like that survival show stage, and they all came up in these shows, and they're really it shows that they're really trained because like we're gonna get into this in a little bit, but they're solid, like, you know, in performance level and in everything that they do, they're super solid. And it just shows because like they've been like going through these like really high pressure situations.
Right.
Like Taeyeon, the fourth from the left, she's from K-pop Star season 3 when she was like 11 or 12. I don't remember. Her sister is in another girl group called ITZY. I think that's the way to say it. And they're just like kind of groomed to become like K-pop artists. Like Yeji recently was in this show called The Fan. I think I told you about this show once. And like it's like about like how like famous Korean like celebrities come out and they present like their favorite artists, like the artists that they're fans of, and they try to show it to the world. And some really famous people come out, like people who are already known. But Yeji came out, I think it was Juno from 2PM that came out, also a part of JYP.
Nice.
And he was like, this girl is like the next it girl, and he like introduced this Yeji to like the nation. And then lo and behold, you know, she comes out in the group ITZY, and they just blow up when they come out. Right. You know, in February. Right. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing, like the background and how much training and how much like things you have to go to actually get to the point of even debut. Yeah. It's crazy. Sure. Like this K-pop, you know, training sequence or. Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the group is. You know, it doesn't matter how lame their song is. When I see a K-pop group debut, I automatically respect them.
Oh, for sure.
It's like they went to the army. You know, they got through boot camp. That's what it is. And then after that, they debut, and then it's up to the public to make them a success or not. So like they're not even through the testing. Like they're finally getting to the final test of possibly becoming successful as a group.
Yeah, and some of these girls, like they train for like 4+5+ years. You know, like it's pretty insane what they have to go through.
Yeah, I respect
a lot. I respect a lot.
So what's your first impression of hearing? So do you remember when you first heard this?
I remember when I first heard this, and I really, this was a bop for sure. There's obviously parts where I just thought, oh man, like it's kind of annoying to hear sometimes too, because this song, it goes through, I mean, I guess that's K-pop in general right now, but this song goes through so many changes that it's hard to keep track of sometimes. Like the different changes that happen. And like there are some parts where I'm just like, of course you have to do that. Like, of course you have to put that in. Like, but that's such a, like, I guess that's like a staple in K-pop. You know, like in a K-pop song, you had to go into that like trap section. You had to go into that bridge part where they're yelling out like positive messages.
That trap section just straight up reminded me of Momoland.
Yeah. And like Momoland, like just to go back, like they blew up with that song Boom Boom. Oh yeah. Which is such a catchy song, which is great.
And then doesn't mean they got to do it again though.
They came out with another song that's like structurally went exactly the same throughout the whole song, and it just didn't do as well. Right. And right now they came out with a new single recently, maybe like a week or two ago, and obviously it's not doing as great as they did with Boom Boom. Right. Which sucks because I think that song was really good, and like, you know, certain members from that group obviously blew up, but that's probably something that we could talk about another time. But let's get back to ITZY.
Yeah, I think when I first heard this song, I remember I was riding in the car in Korea, as a matter of fact, with my brother and brother-in-law, and we were talking about the song. We heard it, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think it's strong enough. I don't think it's strong enough for a debut. And then, you know, I said that, and I believed it for some time. But of course, with things that you're not too sure about, I do this. When I'm not too sure about something, I always go back to it. I always listen to it a little bit more. My first impression about it was that it was almost like a cross between Twice and Red Velvet, because Twice has this very jumpy, like bubbly happiness to it. Red Velvet doesn't necessarily promote like super like, you know, like crazy happiness, even though their first single was called Happiness. Like they're just more like almost avant-garde. They push the envelope in terms of songwriting. They're always jumping back and forth between minor and major.
Yeah, I was just like to just add on to what you were saying. Like, I think you said Red Velvet, but I was getting like such strong like 21 vibes. Oh, okay. Yeah, like really strong 21 vibes, because it's just like the style is like really like 21 is a very strong group.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
For
they're
sure.
they're known to be like a strong K-pop group, and like
Yeah.
the feeling that I get from these girls is like they're trying to be very strong. They're trying to
Sure.
be very like, you know, because I think Red Velvet is still very, you know, happy for the most part.
Yeah.
Twice is definitely very happy.
Yeah.
And then there's moments in the song where yes, they're very happy, and then they get into this like
Yeah.
F you, like, you know,
That's the
I'm
thing.
Tala.
That
you know?
I'm Tala. The FU vibe of this. So even though I personally thought that it was a cross between like Red Velvet and Twice,
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking this, but like it's more accurate if I were to describe it like if a couple members of Twice got into a relationship and then they got heartbroken, and then like they finally get over it.
Yeah.
Then all 9 of them go out and celebrate together. That's exactly what ITZY sounds like to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they got over some shiz, and they're like, "I support you. Keep your chin up. I got your
Keep
back.
your chin
Let's go
up.
party a little bit, okay?
We got
Because
your
we're
back."
stronger women for it." That's kind of how I saw like this thing. It's like it's so jumpy, it's so young sounding,
Yeah.
yet it's like in your face, and they're super unapologetic, which is
Yes.
lyrically the theme, but also musically. So the musical theme and the lyrical theme are married together, and that's why I respect it. And also to mention, even though I didn't like it at first, I kept on listening to it, and I'm addicted now.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. I think it's great song craftsmanship.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
this song is already a month out now, like
Oh, yeah.
or like a month and a half almost. Like I
Yes.
mean, they're obviously not even like promoting the song anymore,
Right.
or they're like not really doing any performances anymore.
Right.
But still, like it's still catchy.
Yeah.
Like I respect it more. I mean, like I like listening to it. Like okay, no, I can't say like it's like something that I would like automatically listen to on a car ride if like, you know, if I had a choice to, you know, listen to a song.
Right.
But then when I see them perform like live, and when I see them, you know, actually on stage, I respect that. Like their like, you know, ability to like kind of be more confident,
Yeah.
like, and then show that,
Yeah.
especially for like a rookie group. I think it's like on another level. And maybe that shows towards like JYP's like, or like
Yeah.
that company's level of like preparing
Experience. They just have
these
experience. They know
kids.
what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because like JYP is for sure known to not even let people like debut unless they're like like ready, you know,
Right.
like ready. Like
Yep.
I know like this for a fact because, you know, like K-pop star, like one of the biggest things like is like if you win, you're supposed to come out. You're supposed to not come out. Like you're supposed to
Debut.
debut with like a producer that you signed with.
Right.
So the first season, Park Jimin, who was the winner, she went with JYP. ITZY, she went with YG.
Right.
But then Park Jimin, like JYP didn't feel like she was ready.
Uh-huh.
So she really like never came out as a solo. She came out together with Taeyeon, who we're going to cover in a second, in a group called 15 and instead of like debuting by herself. And ITZY just came out way before, and she kind of blew up because she
Right.
has her own color and whatever. But yeah, I mean, even that, like JYP just takes real good care of like, or like, you know, is really detail oriented.
Yeah, like they won't stop until it's a hit,
Yeah.
you know. So like, I think they have a great track record. They're very trustworthy in terms of like, you know, great content.
Right.
Yeah, man. Like, I just think this song, very specifically, you know, like even beyond this group, this song is a work of art. And at first I didn't really get it because it's a lot of this cheerleader on speed.
Yeah.
That's really what it sounded like at
Yeah.
first. But the more I hear it, I think there's so much like craftsmanship in it. There's so much intention behind it.
What part was like a hit for you? Like what part was good for you? Like,
I think something that initially caught my interest right away was the beginning beat, and then you hear one girl singing "Dalla Dalla Dalla" like in the background, like just as an intro, and just like her singing so like I don't know, like brashly, like she's like so confident in just singing those words. It drew me in for sure. My favorite part of the song is a little bit more complex though, because my favorite part of the song is the post-chorus hook. At the very end of the song.
oh, where they changed up the beat a little bit.
Well, what that beat is actually the beat for the chant. The bridge chant.
The bridge chant, yeah.
Is actually, that's the production for that bridge chant, and they just carried it over to the end of the song.
Right.
And then you sing the post-chorus hook in it. So they
Yeah,
combine two different parts of the song together, and
Right.
it fit like a puzzle. And I think it's especially powerful because that's the first time the bass note hits the actual minor chord. It's not an inversion. It's actually the bass note, the root note of that chord. So it actually strengthens that part for the first time. It's like completely root position in some ways, and it's so much more stable sounding for the first time in the entire song, actually.
You touched up on like my kind of favorite part, which was like the minor to major parts. Because I think the chorus is so catchy because it changes the color of the song like so quickly. And I think that's one of the hits of like they do well in the changes, because I said earlier I didn't like the song because they changed so much things. But that was one of the changes that I was just like, ooh, this sounds like really good. Like it made me like feel really good.
That's that JYP-ness coming in.
JYP-ness, yeah, for sure.
Well,
like
JYP-esque.
Oh man, we're on it today.
I know.
JYP,
those Freudian slips. Just go with it. There's a very big JYP-ness to it, and the choruses I'm talking about.
Yes.
And I love that. That's the point where I was like, oh, this is not a Red Velvet song.
Yeah.
This is not even actually like a Twice song. I can't even see them singing that chorus. I just see it as a different animal, and that's what I like about it. It's not another Twice.
Yeah.
It's not another like something they've done before, and I love that they're pushing the boundaries, trying something new, and they have the capital for it. They have the ability to risk, and so they're taking full advantage of it, and I applaud them for that. Applaud JYP.
What about a part that you just were like, nah, like this is a nah? Because I have a lot of nahs.
Okay, then you say it, and then I'll say my opinion about those. Because for me, like I actually kind of overrode those nahs. Like after a few listens, I was like, oh, it makes sense why it should be there.
No, I understand why it's there. I understand why it's there. Like the whole rap portion of the song, I feel like it's just unnecessary. I know like you need to have a rap part. Yeah. Like that's like, sure. Like sequentially like right. Right. But then like, it's just, I hate parts where it just doesn't really fit with like the feel of the song. Right. So then like when there's like unnecessary changes, it just doesn't really make much sense to me. Like, when like the rap part goes and the rap part is good. Yeah. And then they drop the beat, into that like trap portion. And then like, she just says my life. Like, and I understand, like, it's just like, I understand. Yeah. Yes, like your life, but it it just doesn't fit for me. Like, it's just so random to me, like that part. I just can't get with that. Like, it's like when there's like one of my biggest like pet peeves with another girl group is like Sister, like who are not around anymore. But then there's this song called Body. Is it?
Touch My Body?
Touch My Body?
Touch My Body.
Yeah. But then like that song, it's like such a like a bop. Like the song is so like happy. Yeah. But their dance moves are so like, like sexual and like.
Oh, that's their moneymaker.
Yeah, I know it is. But then it's just like, it just doesn't match. Like the moves that they're doing. And
lyrically, like, it doesn't match the music. It's like so happy, but it's like, touch my body.
I know, but then when it doesn't match like that, it's just very weird for me. And like, like this song, like when that part comes in, it just doesn't match. When they start like cheering, like the keep your the whole
keep your chin up, we got your back.
We got your back. I understand the lyrics are like fine.
Just keep on dreaming.
I get it. But then it had such a beautiful bridge portion right before it. Oh yeah. It had like the mood changed so nicely, and they could have done something with that. Yeah. And then they just go into this like. Like whoa, and it felt so Twicey right there, and then
there are Twice-like elements for sure.
And then not that I don't like it, but then if you're just trying to make something different, right? Like why not do something different? Right. Why go into that? I feel like it was just so unnecessary.
Okay, I would actually disagree with that, and I totally understand what you're saying, but I would disagree because. I think the focal point of ITZY is to show that positive, like almost untethered energy. And like they have that cheerleader-esque-ness about that shouting part, the chant part. I like it because there's already a strong bridge before it. Yeah. And so I kind of use that bridge as a reason to just kind of go a little bit more crazy. JYP's done that before. They've actually done that with Cheer Up. There's a part 1 and part 2 of a bridge, Right. I really like that structure. I think that's pushing the envelope because usually bridges are just one and done, and they go from a bridge and you think it's going to build up into a chorus, but it's not a build up. It's actually the climax in some ways of the song vocally because they're actually just shouting together, and then afterwards they go into this. after that, it's a little abrasive. It's a little punk rock there.
Yeah.
It's shouting in your face, be positive, yo. And then after that, they go into this, once again, sweet melodic chorus that you want to get into. And then it goes into the post-chorus, which you expect, but all of a sudden you hear the production of the bridge
That was
chant.
a very great part. I do
love
get
that.
I do get that part.
One more thing is that they don't necessarily hit the high note at the last chorus. They do, it's almost like a falsetto or the volume is put down a lot, but they don't rely on it to like carry the last chorus. They actually just trust that the chorus is good enough by itself to just repeat and people will jive to it. And I think that's a mature and also daring way to end a K-pop song, to not have that Taeyeon inspired high note to end that song. I think that's great.
Yeah, I mean, so Leah, the second girl on the left, she's actually the like main singer, the main vocal of this group. And then like actually like because this song is not like vocally anything special, right? Like there's no like showing off like you just said right now.
Right.
So I wanted to see like who's actually the main vocal, like because every group's gonna have the main vocal, whatever. Like and not everybody's gonna be like super talented.
Sure.
So Leah is like the super talented one.
Yeah.
And I saw her singing. I forgot there was this like YouTube video of her just singing, and she's like amazing.
Oh really?
Yeah, she's really amazing. So I'm kind of disappointed that like those vocals aren't. They're not coming out more.
Yeah.
Hopefully in future songs.
Yeah.
Like JYP actually uses her to like do some better vocals. Would love to see that.
I think that's interesting because in the chorus, she actually sings the
secondary part, yes.
Secondary part of the chorus. And she comes in with a falsetto actually to hit those first couple notes. Whereas the first phrase is sung full on chest voice, which would be appropriate because it's like a very powerful chorus. You want those notes to be very clear. I wonder why they had her come in with a falsetto. I mean, the only way for that to actually pop in a song is to actually like raise the volume of it or compress the hell out of that vocal. Why not just bark it out? Like I don't know what the reasoning is for that, other than maybe they wanted to make sure that the color changes so they know it's a different singer. Maybe she takes on a persona of like a beautiful, like delicate voice. I don't know. Like I don't know if she's like necessarily a belter, like Taeyeon is.
Yeah.
And if she isn't, that makes sense why she wouldn't be belting at the end of the song as well.
Well, I hope ITZY keeps on coming out with some bangers.
Oh yeah, I trust that for sure.
I hope the next single, which should be pretty soon. I mean, they've been out for a month this song's been out for a month and a half.
Yeah.
So the next one's coming soon.
Yeah.
So hopefully they come with something good.
Yeah, month and a half, and I'm still not sick of it. So that's a good sign.
That is a good sign. It's still lingering in the top 10 or so in music charts. Top 15, right around there.
I think
people are still listening.
That's really for me, that's the sweet spot of what a K-pop song could be. Like when a K-pop song is done right, in my opinion, it's so catchy that you can't help but keep listening to it, but it's also so different that it never becomes completely familiar to you.
Yeah.
There's all these layers to it. Like what I mentioned, that production changing over to the last post-chorus, like that kind of thing I only noticed like after a few listens. Like you don't really know what's going on until you like listen to it a few times. Like, oh, that's what's going on technically speaking, but it makes me feel amazing, like, and that's a K-pop song done right. So
for sure.
Good job JYP, good job ITZY.
Yes. Now we're going to go into a little bit of a different spectrum.
Okay.
I think it's a little bit more I don't know, it doesn't feel very K-poppy. This next song
feels very Korean though.
It does feel very Korean. And well, let's first talk about the song. It's by Yerin Baek.
Okay.
It's Maybe It's
Bad
Not
Girls.
Our Fault. This is Yerin.
Okay.
Super talented.
James
girl.
got a crush.
I have a massive crush because I just love girls who can sing.
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
and
Ladies out there, James loves women that sing.
yeah, I just if a girl can sing to me every day, I will marry her right away. But either way, this song is called Maybe It's Not Our Fault. 그건 아마 우리의 잘못은 아닐거야. Sam,
Beautiful.
why don't you give us some credits?
Released in March 19th.
Very recent.
Yes, of 2019, of course. Written by Clouds.
Cloud.
Yes. Also responsible for writing most of, if not all of the tracks.
Yeah,
of this
so
album.
they work together. they work together like a lot. I think it's like one of her like personal producers. I think they even have like a rock band together because they've been working on so much music together.
Awesome.
Their rock band is called The Volunteers.
Ah,
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah,
that's actually a really cool name.
yeah, and she like actually plays guitar, and she's really good at the piano.
Sounds like a great name for a band if you're like not trying to pay your members. This is just volunteer
The
work,
volunteer
yo.
work.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
Who said anything about a
because
contract?
the way that I feel like I think I read that they're constructed just based upon people that Cloud and Taeyeon have been working with. Yeah, so it's like I think two other people that they're just like consistently like working together,
Okay.
which is pretty cool.
Well, I would volunteer.
Yeah.
I would volunteer.
I would volunteer for
Yeah,
sure.
For sure.
Um,
I know you would, man.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't be playing though. You'd just be looking,
Well,
serving
well,
them stairs.
unfortunately, Taeyeon is in the nice young age of 21 years old.
Oh, okay.
And she debuted, like I said earlier, with Park Jimin, who was a K-pop Star Season 1 winner, as in a group called 15N. And when they debuted, like they were like powerhouse vocals. Like they're solid vocals.
Right.
And they came through JYP. And JYP like obviously treasured these two because they're like legit. They're legit singers. But I don't know, like Yerin is like very, I mean like she's I think signed to JYP, but I think JYP just lets her do her own thing. Because
She's
I
a
think
little tala.
yeah, she's a little tala. She kind of, likes her own style.
Okay.
She doesn't want to conform to like, like a K-pop style.
Sure.
She's very like lo-fi music.
Yes.
Yeah, and this song, maybe it's not her fault. It's very lo-fi.
Yes.
Just like nice, looping piano.
Yes.
Very dreamy like sounding. Like it's really dreamy. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say if it comes to low fineness, it's definitely her fault.
Yeah.
It seems to me that like she really, instead of pristine, clear, shimmering vocals, which would serve her so much. It's a high point, her vocals for sure. It turns a little more dampened. It's a little more filtered. Not only the vocals, and I noticed that in the vocals because I was like, is this like some sort of demo or like is this like an MP3 that's like corrupt?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound pristine. It doesn't sound clear.
Yeah.
It's not the normal K-pop release that you would expect because K-pop is always about presenting the best that you have. Now, what I appreciate about that is that they're taking an artistic angle.
Yeah.
Like they're just trying to make sure that that this is coming from a different dimension of dreaminess, of shimmeriness, of these swelling strings that it's basically a dream.
Yeah.
A dream of mirrors. That's what it sounds like.
So to add on to that, because like you're so used to definitely like kind of like the electronic sounding of things because you produce K-pop and like you have to make that kind of music.
Sure.
But Cloud, I actually read in an interview that he actually enjoys like recording very like acoustically. So he actually plays the drum samples himself and records it. And like the guitar sounds he records it straight from the amp. So that's probably plays into like why it sounds like it, like what you're saying.
Sure.
Because it's a little bit more, I guess, like natural. And I think that's the feeling that they want,
I guess that is what they want, but there is a certain like blanket that they put over the entire mix where it's a little bit like literally lo-fi. Like you hear like certain hisses throughout the song and it's almost, to me, it's a little bit distracting because I get it if like, I like a song that has a fake little record crackle throughout the whole thing. It's not even vinyl. They just put it on there so, it'll set the mood. I get that. I get that they're trying to take an angle with it. If it's like hissing every now and then, like especially when the vocals are out of there, like hisses louder and stuff, I think it's like some sort of compression issue, So like audio-wise, I'm like, is there some malfunction going on or is there something that they overlooked or they were trying to meet a deadline? They just overlooked a detail.
Maybe.
Or if they intentionally did do this, I personally would have done it a little bit differently. Now, that's only talking about the sonic value of it. We're not talking about chords. We're not talking about melody. Because melodically, it's Korean as hell, but in a most beautiful way.
Right.
It's so beautiful.
Before we get into the song, I'll kind of introduce the song first.
Okay.
It's out of her mini album, Our Love Is Great. It's like a 7-track album. I mean, if you have the time, you should listen to all of it because actually this is like my personal favorite song out of the 3 songs that we're covering today. Also, like, this album, I think, is like one of the best albums that I've actually heard in a very long time. So you guys should definitely get on that.
Sounds a little biased, but yeah, it is great.
It is a very great album.
Yeah.
It might be biased.
Yeah.
But either way, it's talking about the difficulties of being in a relationship. So as time goes, like things happen, that are sometimes out of your control. It's not your fault. It's just natural. And then, so like Yerin's message is more like you got to work together to get through those things. So like her chorus talks about like how, we gotta hold our hands together. So she's very hopeful, like you gotta hold hands together so we don't falter. We gotta look at each other in our eyes so we don't like there's a lot of lyrics like that, that like kind of is like that hopeful. So it's like very contrasting from like Taeyeon song, which was like, I'm gonna let you go. I don't care about you. I guess that's like kind of like the age thing too, right? Like 21-year-old is like kind of like more hopeful and like kind of like what is it, like hopeful as well. Like the 30-year-old would be like more realistic because
especially a 30-year-old Taeyeon, she knows that guys are lined up out the door. So
so like you don't have to like really work on it. Like you just gotta go find a better person.
Right.
But yeah, that's what the song is about. So yeah, let's get into the song a little bit. What did you think about the song? I mean, we kind of touched up on it, but why don't you
but
elaborate
generally speaking, I think it's a great, very easy listening song, as opposed to the previous song we were discussing by ITZY. It's much more digestible immediately. It's minimal melodies over almost like a looped, boom bap track with very filtered lo-fi instrumentation. It's almost in a loop pattern. Melodically speaking, it's very, I don't know how else to explain it. It's just very Korean,
like I think the first time I made you hear this, I was like, this is what Korean R&B is. Like,
totally.
This is like Korean R&B.
This is totally Korean. Yeah. and I really appreciate that because I cannot imagine anyone else in any other country or upbringing making songs like this and feeling natural. Like this is like, what I mean by it sounds Korean is if you take a full pure-blooded Korean, like from Korea. I'm not talking about someone like myself, like someone from Korea. Tell them, and also they have to be musically gifted, tell them to write a song. Write a song. They're going to be thinking, okay, I'm going to write a song, and it's going to automatically sound like you belong in a cafe. That's basically what it is. Like, this song is cafe music in the best way possible. I think I think the melodies are great. A lot of sevenths, things like that. Ending on sevenths leading tones, giving that little unresolvedness. Maybe that is a thematic connection there. Maybe when you feel hopeful about things, but you don't feel that confirmation, it's a little unresolved. Right. Melodically, it certainly does do that. And so I think it's smart. I think it's minimal, and I generally like the tune.
So most of Yerin's songs, like, they are very minimal. But then, so like my first thought is like this song, it's also very minimal, but there is a lot of stuff with the chords that are going on because like normally, you see like one pattern just of chords going on, throughout a whole song. Right. But once it hits the chorus, like all these melodies align with these different chord changes. And I think that's like my favorite part about this song is that she does so well in playing around with the melodies with like the chord changes because you're just getting like an instrumental track and you gotta like kind of make your own melodies and kind of figure out. I don't know if like Cloud made these melodies himself and Yerin singing, or maybe they worked on it together, who knows. But whoever did make the melodies, they did such a great job because like melodically there's certain points where it's just like, wow, I don't think I would have like thought of like the lines of melody going in that direction, and then dude, it went there. Like like it just makes me like, oh shoot, like I get these like when a girl sings or when a guy or girl sings and they go into these little different places, like my back tingles a little bit, and my back tingled a lot in the song. Oh shoot, because of those things. Okay, it though for sure it tingled back in Taeyeon's song too, but then I don't think it was like this because I think maybe the feel of the song is different. Like Taeyeon's is more strong, so you feel like those melodies are like
almost
it
expected.
Fits. It fits,
so it doesn't tingle as much. But your BT meter just maxed out on this song. The back tingling meter, is that something? For sure. It's a thing now.
That's a thing now,
and maybe eventually we can Photoshop it like a hairy meter, like a back
my
or
back
something.
Ain't hairy.
I'm just saying,
a little bit.
Like some people are.
But either way, and I just like for me, like I said, it might be very biased, but then just a lot of this song, I don't really find a lot of faults in this song, because I think in the musical sense, in just like presentation sense, there isn't the part where I can be like, oh man, like, yeah, I don't like this song, like, because of this.
Yeah, I mean, I keep on, kind of dissing them about this lo-fi thing that they're doing. I still find it appropriate.
Right.
It's a nostalgia that they're trying to hit, and you need that in this song for sure. It feels like all very like pristine quality music arrangement and all that sonically, audio-wise. It just won't hit that area of your brain that makes you think about your first love or like whatever it is. And so, yeah, they did it right.
Yeah.
If I had my choice, I would do lo-fi in a different way, perhaps. But lo-fi was the way to go.
And I'm actually surprised at how well this song did on the charts. Because like this is not like I can't say it's like like people would appreciate, like the regular person would appreciate something like this.
Right.
But then like I think there's a love for Baek Yerin in general, like her like style.
Yes.
Like it's really funny. I think I read somewhere like that she wants to get a beat from JYP, but she would never let JYP put his signature sound JYP in the song because it like ruins the song for her. I find that so funny. Like,
I think a lot of people feel that
like
way.
She's like all about her own style, like her own thing. And like, so then I'm very surprised because this sounds like very like independent. Like this whole album, it just sounds very independent to me.
Right.
And the fact that it like reached as far as it did, because when it first came, I think it did reach the top. And
in
then,
some sense, it is. It's been anticipated for some time.
Yeah,
I think her last release was in 2016.
Yeah, 2016, like around there.
Yeah, so you had that kind of hiatus, and all of a sudden you come back. People are going to be wondering what you've been doing.
And I mean, she's like super talented. Her voice, color, it's like amazing. At like 21 years old, like I think it's like a very mature.
It's thick.
Yeah, and
2 C's.
It's really it's really interesting because like you can tell because like she says her like favorite artist or whatever is like Amy Winehouse.
Oh, okay.
And you can tell that, right? Like just like the color in her voice, like the way that she sings,
right? And
like the covers that she does, like because I said, I think I really like this girl, like the way that she sings.
I didn't know that, bro. Yeah.
But then I checked out some like live videos of her singing as well, and like there's no like change in like how she sings.
So it's solidified.
Yeah, it's really like it like I love seeing like people like singing. Live as they do on the CD. Like the connection. But then
that Adele factor.
Yeah,
Adele
I think it's
Sam
pretty.
Smith and
then Yerin is pretty cool, but she doesn't have the. I think she would be much bigger. She doesn't have like the. She's very shy on stage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's like does her singing, and then she like doesn't do any like crowd participation.
She's no ITZY.
Yeah, she's no ITZY. She's not DALLA.
Yeah,
but she's not like Taeyeon, who has like so much swag now, Taeyeon's on stage when you're watching her do her like show, like she's just like she's just having
letting
fun.
You watch.
Like she's just like having fun, like swaying back and forth. Like Baek Yerin, she just like kind of holds her mic and she's just like looking like on like around and she's just like kind of singing on her own. Yeah, I think it's like it shows like a difference of character.
Sure.
Yeah, but but yeah, I mean, like this song, I think it's really good, really good.
I agree. I like this song. Probably not as much as you do.
Yeah. I think it's just a good like chill listen. You're just like chilling. You're just going on a drive. Yeah. Like I think like Taeyeon, like I have to like kind of listen really carefully and like analyze it. Sure. But then like Baek Yerin, like it's just like kind of playing in the background and like I'm just like chilling on it. I think there's a difference.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but that's Baek Yerin for you.
Yeah, those are the 3.
Yeah, those are our big 3 today.
Yes.
No, we got through that.
Wow.
Yeah, we got through that.
And I didn't fall asleep.
Oh, maybe we actually entertain each other. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. There's only 2 people we can ask later. But
so yeah, Taeyeon's 4 Seasons. Yeah. ITZY's 달라 달라. And Baek Yerin's Maybe It's Not Our Fault. 그건 아마 우리의 잘못은 아닐 거야.
Skirt.
Yeah, so that's our songs of the week.
Okay. Songs of the week.
Like just really quick plug. I mean, if you guys have any suggestions on what you guys want to hear or what you guys want us to talk about, please throw it up on our Instagram, on our, which we'll throw out in a second, our YouTube, our, what else do we have? Twitter and all that stuff. You guys can throw it up, suggestions there.
Before we go out with a bang, these are the songs we covered this week, but on this week, back in the past. Let's be time travelers for a second. Let's be some TTs right now.
TTs. We're being TTs. So this segment is called TT.
Also known as.
Time Traveler. Not twice a song.
We're going back in time right now.
So what we're doing in this segment is we're going to like go back 20 years. So right now it's the fourth week of March. And we're going to go back in time 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, and 5 years and see what was like up in the K-pop, in the, like the top songs in K-pop.
Before it was called K-pop.
Before it was called K-pop. And maybe 20 years might be a lot. Maybe there are a lot of you listeners
like,
probably don't know
what 20 years
who
is.
these people are.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll kind of give some context.
They
we'll try to help you
are
out.
the seeds.
Yeah, these are the seeds. These are what made K-pop what it is today.
Yes.
Probably not in the same capacity, but, you know, it is what built the industry.
It is the Biggie Smalls and Tupac
Yes.
of the hip-hop age.
Yes. So we'll start with 1999.
Wow.
1999. How old, were you in
Was I?
1999?
I was in the beginning of 6th grade.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Oh,
and
man.
everyone was fearing Y2K.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
Y2K.
All the lights are just going to shut off
Oh,
automatically.
man,
you know?
Y2K was such a big thing in Korea.
Yeah, everyone was
Korea
counting
was
down.
tripping.
Everyone was like counting down, but like kind of scared too, you know? They're like, oh man, I don't know if all the power is going to go out.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened at all.
Yeah.
Banks were all good. Our money was still there. Whatever money that I had was still there. Yeah, but here's 1999. So the top song in 1999 was 되돌아온 이별 by 김현정, who is like a very like old school like diva. She was like an old school diva singer. So this is probably like I think her second album. It says second Kim Yeon-jung there. But she got more famous with another song. I can't think of the title on it. It goes, 다 돌려봐. There's like this really like fun dance that like, you know, people do with it. Definitely a 노래방 song. But she's up there. She was like a diva, like I said.
Yeah.
Rulla. This is
Rulla.
probably towards the end of their career.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Towards
Such
the end.
legends.
But
Such
Rulla
legends.
is like definitely a legend in the K-pop.
By the way, this is back in the day when there were a lot of girl-guy groups.
Oh, yes.
Guy groups.
That was like a kind of a regular
KART.
thing.
It's not just card. You know,
Yes.
like most groups were, you know,
Girl-guy groups.
Co-ed.
Yeah, so I mean, you see a lot of names here. Maybe there's a name here, Jinushan. I don't know if you guys know. Taekwon V is like a pretty classic, one of their classics. This is what like kind of when YG was first starting.
Yes.
Coyote is a pretty old school group. Cool is a very old school group.
Once
a lot
again.
of old school. Yoon Jong-shin, who is like, he made this song recently that just blew up. Oh, man, I'm like, you know, like not remembering these song titles.
We
right
were
now.
just children.
Yeah, but there's a lot of songs here that I probably don't even know. At the bottom, you have Imjabam.
I know like a handful, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even know the number one song.
Yeah.
You know.
If I heard it, I probably remember.
Yeah. But we say this because I'm probably going to listen to it later.
Yeah,
you know?
like
and I
I'm
encourage you guys to do
definitely
the same.
just going to go and listen to that.
Yeah.
Either way, we're going on to
Yep.
next 5 years into the future.
Let's see.
From
how the
1999 is
industry changed.
2004. So now we're going to see some type of different change here. And this song by Tae, 사랑은 향기를 남기고, this song was great. This is like a ballad. And this was his first ever song. This guy was a rookie. And this guy looks like the most like, I don't know. He looks so 느끼해. What's that in like?
느끼해?
느끼해.
It literally means like greasy or oily,
Yeah.
but that's also, it means like creepy as hell.
Not creepy.
Yeah.
느끼해 is like, you're just like oozing like, I don't know. Is it creepy? I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be because like what else is there? Like, I mean, I guess you can say it's oily. They're just like this oily type of feel or vibe.
Yeah.
You know.
But if you really look down, like this guy, like this was like a very top song. This was like on the top for a very, very long time. I mean, it's a very great Korean ballad too. But if you guys can like kind of see like where the Korean industry was in this particular time, it's like other than Seotteji, like Shin Seung-un, SG Wannabe,
Hug.
MC The Max, Park Sang-min, like all these Budju, Kim Dong-ryul, these guys are all
동방신기. Hug.
ballad groups.
That's a banger.
Hug?
Yeah. Hug is a banger, bro.
Hug is one of their first songs?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like man, I heard it for the first time in a 노래방. And I remember I was like reading the lyrics as my cousin was singing it. I was like, wow.
This is what got you into K-pop? What?
No, I was like, this is what turned me off.
Oh.
I was like, wow, these are like such sensitive, like girly man lyrics. I was like, oh man up, bro.
That was that time.
Yeah,
that
and
was
then
that
I
time.
realized,
You see, like how, like I said, all male, like mostly male ballads.
Yeah.
It was a time when I guess like males were really sensitive.
Oh yeah,
Because these songs all about like breaks and like.
Right. I dig that. I appreciate that. You know?
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time of sad songs.
My Korean brothers are sensitive.
Yeah, Korean brothers are.
I love that.
Super sensitive. Yeah. Either way, we're going 5 years ahead now.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you guys might start recognizing a lot more of these songs. Yeah.
Maybe.
But 2009, here we go. Number 1. Oh, 8282. 8282. So if you read that in Korean, it's 빨리. That means like hurry, hurry.
빨리.
So this is 다비치. This is a two females, amazing singers, amazing singers, and they came out with this like song where that is like they're normally about their ballads, and this song kind of starts off as a ballad, but then it goes into this like really like K-poppy part where actually like when they actually perform these, like they like had to do like they had these like little dances. They still like, I think Tabichi still talks about it to this day. They like hated to do those dances, but this song I would say is like a banger in the noraebang. Like whenever this song comes out, it's all lit. It's crazy.
I think this list is lit.
This list is lit.
This is when like K-pop was like in its toddler stage.
Yeah, like this is, well, I think like the best time of K-pop was in 2010, 2011. That's when like 소녀시대 had like G and stuff like that. But here, oh shoot, it's 2009.
G right there.
G is right there. Yeah. And then
that's when I knew. That's when I knew it was lit.
It's lit. Sorry. Oh man, that was
sorry, dude. That's a banger right there. You know, like that dance where they're not only just saying sorry, they're actually like rubbing their hands together in apology.
Oh yeah,
that's actually what the dance was.
Sorry.
I love that. And actually, sorry or sorry. I don't know which pronunciation to use. That was one of the first songs, and I think SM was responsible for this. They're one of the first songs where I heard in K-pop, like this polyharmonic, like harmonies in the background. Like when they say sorry, there's harmonies on top of harmonies, and it actually becomes non-chordal. And it started sounding really strange. But then SM normalized it. They started using it in Shiny songs.
I didn't realize that, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, like you see all these like songs. Insomnia is actually Hwisung is another like very top Korean singer, a male singer. But Insomnia is actually a Craig David song. I don't like, that's a really old name right there. But Craig David actually gave him permission to actually change it into his own version, the Korean version, which is pretty cool. And yeah, obviously see 소녀시대 there, G, one of their biggest songs ever. That like kind of catapulted them to the top.
It's their OG song that got them into superstardom.
Yeah, pretty amazing list right here.
I do have to admit though, when I heard G for the first time, I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, that was like, whoa.
Yeah, until I got K-pop, like when I hear it back now, I'm just like,
because this is when like they started like making dances like a very big thing in like K-pop groups.
But then you would expect like, I mean, I get it. This is the stage when they're trying to be cute. They're like the very like young like new group of 9 girls.
2009.
So they're doing cute dances. They're like going back and forth like crabs, like like side to side. And all that. They're not doing any like sexy moves. And so when I saw that, I was like, I don't know what they're trying to do. And then later on, I saw it. I was like, oh, that's cute. I dig it. It's cool. I get it.
For sure.
All that matters is that you get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to the most recent, 2014. This is just 5 years ago. So definitely people will know these songs. So on to the next list. We got, wow, Some. Now, that's a pretty big banger during that time. That song was on everywhere. Everywhere. During this time. Like this was a big song, and it's funny because like shout out to my homegirl Esna, she actually wrote this song.
Wow.
Yeah, she's like making music in Korea right now. She has I think she has her own like little mini album out right now. If you guys can go check that out. But yeah, she made this song, and this song is really good. This song is like a really nice song. I think it's still popular today. Yeah, really good song. What
Yeah,
other songs?
this list is also lit.
Yeah, it's very lit.
Come Back Home, 21.
21,
So this is
Come
in the
Back Home.
tail end of 21's career, I would say.
Yeah.
Come Back Home, of course, is paying homage to Seo-taeji's Come Back Home.
Yes.
The title-wise, none of the actual song is actually sounding anything like that, because the original song sounds more like Cypress Hill, if anything. But there, YG was a part of that group, and 21 is obviously under YG at the time. And so I thought that was interesting. It was a good song. I was such a huge 21 fan.
I was a very huge 21 fan.
Just massive.
21
especially,
and Big Bang. Like, it was I think they're our like kind of like big group. You know?
And their album To Anyone, like that is when I heard it, I was like, every single song is a banger.
Yeah.
It's undeniable music. They're not trying to be like 소녀시대, like doing that cutesy thing. They're just trying to be like the ITZY equivalent of yesteryear, like they're doing that girl crush thing.
Yeah.
I dug it. It's all about that music. It makes you want to dance. Will.i.am was interested at the time. Like,
right.
The West was like all about it. That's when people are like, oh, K-pop's like solid. It's relevant. And so I loved it.
Yeah, and like one of my favorite rappers, Loco, number 5. Like this is like his first ever song that he released after he was out of what is it? Show Me the Money. This one was a banger too. And now he's in the army. But yeah, I mean, Loco is one of my favorite rappers in Korea. Like, you guys got to listen to him. Yeah, he's
and
dope.
To give more props to, of course, the most legendary girl group is number 9, Mr. Mister.
Mr. Mister. Yes.
At this point, I didn't know what to expect from 소녀시대. They've done it all. They've done it all. This is still when Jessica was still in the group. I heard the song for the first time while watching the music video. I remember distinctly watching it because I thought the song was so good. The song was so catchy.
Yeah.
And what's unfortunate is nearing the end of groups' careers, they don't necessarily always get the best songs. Like all the attention and the effort is given to these new groups because they got to hit number 1. They got to build a legacy.
Right.
These groups have already built their legacy.
Yeah.
Why try any harder anymore? But I heard Mr. Mister was so solid.
Yeah.
And I was very happy for them and happy to pop that into my playlist.
Yeah. And the last song, 보름달 by Sunmi, this is one of her like first solo songs too. I think this is one of my favorite singles of her.
I've actually never heard this one.
Yeah, this song is really dope. You guys, you should definitely take a listen. But yeah, like it's really cool looking back at these like top songs during the old times and like kind of seeing like how K-pop is continuously changing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in 1999, obviously, like not a lot of people are gonna know these songs.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that's a pretty crazy list what we got there. Yeah. So that does conclude everything that we do have prepared for today.
Good
I
job.
mean, that was a pretty
job,
good
James.
first episode.
Yes.
Oh wait, I do want to like kind of touch upon
Okay.
certain songs that are on my playlist these days.
Okay.
Yeah, I do want to like kind of throw it out because I think these are really, really good songs.
Okay.
I think I have obviously a Taeyeon song.
Okay.
Taeyeon song. It's called Bye Bye My Blue. This song is legit. You guys should take a listen. Suran is a girl, like female singer that I think is like underrated in Korea. That you guys can take a listen to. Her song is called 전화 끊지 마, or Don't Hang Up the Phone, I guess.
Those are fighting words.
Yeah, don't hang
Don't hang up
Don't hang
yet.
up the phone.
Yeah.
And the legendary Yoonmire, Gemini, Tasha, she came out with like a ballad recently where she sings. Like she's like an amazing singer,
Yeah.
like she's an amazing R&B singer. It's called 잊어가지마. And I think you guys should take a listen to that. I'm like in like a female vocal.
She's the Lauryn
like,
Hill of K-pop, yo.
Oh, she's a Lauryn Hill. Okay, well, she's
up.
amazing. Yeah. So like I'm just in like this female vocal vibe recently. I think because of this podcast. So
I can
take
tell.
a listen to that, guys.
As for me, I'm always listening to K-pop, keeping up with it. Something that has been inspiring to me for the past even like couple months. I just keep going back to this record because it reminds me of what got me into music in the first place. Just straight up good instrumentation and great lyrics. And this is not K-pop. This is not even American rock or American pop. It's actually American country music.
Oh man.
And it's Casey Musgraves.
Oh man.
And I think her latest album has, I think every single song is solid. The Golden Hour, by the way. And the songs that stand out to me the most, the song that really captured my attention was a song called Mother. and it's only a minute and a half or so, but the lyrical value of it, it's actually written about the afterglow of an acid trip. So,
Oh wow.
so apparently she does some drugs. Okay, so
man.
that wouldn't go so well in Korea. Luckily, she's in America.
America.
But she documented how she felt afterwards lyrically, and I didn't even know that. And when I heard it, I was like, this is such vulnerable, personal music. And when I heard the context of it, I was like, wow, this is even more amazing. It actually makes more sense. But my favorite track on there is actually Wonder Woman and Love is a Wild Thing.
Yeah, Seb actually told me a while back to listen to Casey Musgraves, and I will concur that it is a very solid album.
Yes.
Well, either way, yes, that is our podcast. That is K-Drop of the week.
Yes. And with any suggestions for what we should look up and look into next, please write in the comments, your favorite group or whatever you're listening to right now. And as for if you want to look into our lives and become little stalkers, by all means, please do.
Yes.
For me, my Instagram is SAMUILEE, so at SAMUILEE.
And mine is JAMZYI. It's like literally my name.
Indeed.
JMZ.
And please follow this podcast
Yes.
at
We're on
K-Drop
K-Drop Podcast.
K-Drop Podcast.
On Twitter on K-Drop Podcast. On YouTube will be K-Drop Podcast.
On Instagram.
Twitch will be K-Drop Podcast.
Yep.
Literally the way that it sounds.
Yep.
Like K the letter, obviously.
Yeah.
Like that right there. K-Drop Podcast.
Any opportunity we have to replace a C with a K, we're going to do it here.
Yes.
Why not?
Yes. And so please follow, subscribe, comment.
Yes.
Give us any suggestions of what you guys want to hear.
Give us love.
Yeah, and give us love. Yes, for sure. Give us love. Yeah. Until next time, I guess.
Have an amazing week. We love you. And this is the K-Drop.
K-Drop. Let's get it.